In a number of our more recent videos, we discussed 4 Imperial officers who Darth Vader respected, demonstrating situations where Vader acted differently than what we might expect from the Sith Lord in relation to the officers of the Empire, namely, where Vader would unleash his wrath and fury against them. However, even among these officers, Vader was still a very feared and intimidating individual, not surprising given the reputation he had as the Emperor's enforcer, one who did not accept failure. And yet, despite this fearsome and terrifying reputation, and the obvious risk of death for failure, there are numerous instances within the lore, both within Legends and the current canon, that demonstrate that Imperial officers wanted to work with Darth Vader, where positions on the capital ships commanded by Vader, like the Executor, were highly desired by the Empire's officers. In today's video, we'll look at a number of reasons why this was true of many Imperial officers, looking at lore from within both Legends and canon that reveal why the rewards of working with Vader outweighed the risks for many of the Empire's officers. The first reason why many officers would want positions working with Vader was crucial for those looking to rise in the ranks of the Imperial hierarchy, this being the opportunity for quick promotion. As we discussed in a recent video about how the destruction of the Superstar Destroyer the Executor at the Battle of Endor shattered the Empire, this point is made clearly within the Legends novel Heir to the Empire, through the perspective of Captain Pellaeon. After the Battle of Endor, which saw the death of Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, which of course were monumental losses for the Empire, it was the loss of the Superstar Destroyer the Executor at Endor that still pained Pellaeon 5 years after the battle. For Pellaeon, while the loss of such an important ship in the Imperial fleet was a stunning blow, it was the loss of those on the Superstar Destroyer that was far worse for Pellaeon. The novel reveals that because the Executor was the personal ship of Darth Vader, it had long been perceived by many as a potential quick line to promotion, drawing many of the Empire's best officers to it, as the opportunity to work directly with Vader in some capacity on the Superstar Destroyer was seen to have very favorable rewards in this regard. As Pellaeon noted himself within Heir to the Empire, this opportunity for promotion meant that many officers wanted to gain positions on the Executor, even knowing Vader's reputation for being unpredictable and for violently striking out at the officers around him. In this way, the reward outweighed the obvious consequences of failure for those looking to rise within the ranks of the Empire. A good example of Pellaeon's point is found within the story of Ensign Nanda, who was assigned to the Executor, which we looked at in a previous video. Although the mission she assisted Vader with was an unsanctioned one, which didn't officially exist within any Imperial records and wasn't to be known by those on board the Executor, Nanda is a good example that shows how generous Vader could be with promotions for those officers on the Executor who successfully helped him. In only a few days after successfully completing their mission, Ensign Nanda was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Commander, a rise in rank of 3 levels that would have otherwise taken 5 years to accomplish. Of course, there would be obvious consequences for failure and difficulties that went along with working with Vader, which Nanda would have to confront as well, but the point is clear. Working with Vader brought the opportunity for quick promotions, an important aspect for ambitious officers within the Empire that allowed them to set aside the obvious risks that came with this opportunity. Another reason why Imperial officers would want to work with Vader despite the tremendous risk that came with it is closely related to this point. While there was a good opportunity for increasing one's rank within the Imperial hierarchy quickly, Vader was also viewed as a way for Imperial officers to become feared and respected themselves. This point was made by Commander Loretta Tom within the Legends comic Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison. The commander noted that many officers within the Empire were terrified of Vader, with stories demonstrating Vader's brutality was well known within the Empire's academies. However, when Commander Tom was provided with an opportunity to work directly with Vader for the first time, he recognized something important. Working with Vader could earn him, or any officer, both fear and respect, which in his opinion were the only 2 things that mattered. This of course would help these officers obtain promotions within the Empire, but it would also generally help them to obtain what they wanted in regards to others within the Empire and galaxy, with the reputation of Vader in some ways being extended to them as well. In addition to the ability to obtain quick promotions and obtain both fear and respect, there's another interesting reason why some Imperial officers look forward to working with Vader and actually look to gain positions on the same capital ships as well. Some just admired and respected Darth Vader, even knowing what the consequences of failure were, a result of numerous qualities Vader possessed in their opinion, whether it be the Sith Lord's leadership abilities, his skill in combat, or even just the small details about Vader's life that officers would discover themselves. This is seen within both Legends and the current canon. In Legends, a great example is Lieutenant Lakoff, whose story we looked at in a previous video. Within the Legends Legacy of the Force series, it's revealed that Lieutenant Lakoff saw Vader as an inspirational leader and noted how he always put himself in the front line of a battle, aspects that made the lieutenant completely loyal to Vader, working with Vader both selflessly and faithfully. This loyalty was even reciprocated by Vader, as when Lakoff was badly injured during a battle, it was Vader who made sure the lieutenant was taken care of for the rest of his life. Importantly for our video here, the story of Lieutenant Lakoff demonstrates how despite Vader's reputation for striking out against the Imperial officers around him, there were those within the Empire's ranks who saw Vader as an inspirational leader with exceptional skills in battle, which he didn't hesitate to use, thereby helping those within the Empire. In this way, officers like Lieutenant Lakoff wanted to work with Vader and were loyal to him due to the respect they had for the Sith Lord, thereby accepting the risks that came with it. This is also seen within the current canon through the example of General Veers. Within the story The Truest Duty, written by Christie Golden, and found within the From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back novel, we see Veers fully admit that serving aboard the Executor brought unique challenges, but also unparalleled rewards. A possible reference to the ability of officers to achieve quick promotions and obtain fear and respect, which we mentioned previously. However, that's not the important point. For Veers, while there were rewards, working on the Executor brought an honor that, quote, could never be eclipsed. As we learn from the story, this was clearly due to the ability to work with Darth Vader, someone who Veers admired. While General Veers had met many impressive and intimidating individuals throughout his life, none of them had a presence like Vader. It's also revealed within the story that Veers had briefly seen Vader on multiple occasions without his helmet on, within the Sith Lord's meditation chamber, allowing Veers to conclude that Vader had experienced unimaginable suffering in his life, and not only that, but used the unbearable torment that he went through to reshape himself and become stronger. All of this allowed Veers to see Vader as an inspiring individual, just as we saw in the example of Lieutenant Lakoff, where Veers saw his truest duty as being one that never failed Darth Vader. In this way, the risk that went along with working with Vader was outweighed by the respect he had for the Sith Lord. There's one additional point I'd like to acknowledge at the end of our video here. While there was the opportunity for Imperial officers to achieve faster promotions, as well as to obtain fear and respect from others, and Imperial officers wanted to work with Vader given that they respected him and found him to be an inspiring leader, we still can't understate the tremendous risk involved here. While these are significant rewards and motivations, how valuable are they really when there was the chance they could be eliminated by Vader for failure, but also perhaps for any reason? In our next video, we'll discuss the following question. What was the risk of working with Vader for these Imperial officers when it came to potentially having Vader unleash his rage and fury upon them? As this is an important question when trying to understand how these officers would look at the value of the rewards and reasons previously mentioned. So there we have it, why so many Imperial officers wanted to work with Vader despite the obvious risk of doing so. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... For General Veers.